Going live right now. Everyone, hi, this is the Papa's Football Podcast. Again, not Papa's Basement, the Papa's Football Podcast. I should fix the camera right now. Let me do that because I don't know how to do the damn setting up the image before it goes live anymore. They took away YouTube screws with his options all the time. I hate it. Joe Gagliardi was supposed to be here in studio, but he died in a tragic pie eating contest accident last night. It was really sad. Our condolences go out to the Gagliardi family. You lost a good one. No, Joe just has a migraine or something. He wanted to be here, and I was like, dude, don't drive from Annapolis for a goddamn podcast after you've literally been at the hospital to get checked out for a migraine. So again, this is not a Papa's Basement. This is Papa's Football Podcast. I don't think we've done it in a year or two.
I mean, it's week 1 in the NFL, so
I couldn't help myself. Yeah, I couldn't help myself. So I'm gonna minimize this. Let me blah blah blah. Give me 1 second, damn you. And now Bill's almost cropped out. That's fine. No.
Is it better if I lean back and out of the shot? Because I could do that.
Just for you.
All right.
Now I feel like I'm blocking Howard.
Let's just crop me
out. I'm cool.
Let's just crop me out. All right. You know what? This is as good as it's going to get.
Should go low angle up at your chin. That should be the only thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's too well lit. My gut is just so visible. Okay. All right, we're going live now. We're going to play, the drill. We play intro music, and then the show begins. Again, not Papa's Basement, Papa's Football Podcast. And the good American football, not gay ball. All right. You know what the trumpets mean. That's a trumpet, right, Howard?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, cool. You know what the trumpets mean. It means Papa's Football Podcast, a show I started because I found a great sample of music that was an introduction to a Vince Lombardi Explains the Power Sweep video. And who wouldn't start a podcast around that, what you just heard? Oh, God, I love it. I can't get enough. Again, I'm John Papa Giorgio. I'm joined today by good friend Howard Flood. Howard was on Papa's Basement forever, and he's still sometimes,
occasionally,
occasionally. But Howard's got a kid now, and
they ruin your lives.
So yeah, pretty much.
For all the kids at
he's
home,
dead. He's dead.
It's your fault.
Yeah, he's dead inside. He will be dead outside because children are vampires. And we're joined by my actual former commercial radio when I was in radio. I guess you would have been my boss.
No.
Right?
I didn't have any ability to hire or fire you.
If you were a dick, you could have.
I don't know about that.
You would have been like, I am not working with that possible pedophile of a board op, Papa Giorgio. Apparently, you like alliteration in this example. Bill Rowland, everyone.
Pleasure.
Putting it together.
Oh,
Bill
you.
Rowland, yes.
Nice.
This show is nothing more than a recap of the week that was, what we think might happen with the week to come, and the stories that we think are fascinating from American football. Really, the only sport I care about.
Did you have to designate that it's American football that we're talking about?
I don't know. The country.
Somebody scrolling through the podcast going, hey, they might be talking about
the
Premier
footy.
League or
I don't know,
La Liga or whatever it's
called. We had
yeah.
so many weirdos at our old sports station that loved soccer. There was Robert Bodie, good old Matt Cahill.
They all love it.
They would tweet
dummies.
Back and forth. Yeah, even Joe Gagliardi, who isn't here again because he died in a tragic pie eating contest accident.
In defense of getting into soccer, the way I got into it was there were Sundays when I was hungover in my early 20s where I'm like, oh, this is before the NFL started doing the European games, which we need a team in London for this sole reason. When you wake up Sunday and you're hungover and it's like, I want to watch sports. I can't watch another episode of Sports Center. I got into soccer in Europe because it starts over there earlier. So it's like, if you give me something at 7:30 a.m. when I don't care, I'm probably going to watch a sport. And that's how I first got into soccer. I think the only way to fight that in America is a NFL team in London.
As long as you don't wear like the goofy scarf, I'm kind of okay with it. That's where I draw the line in soccer. Like the douchebags with their little hipster glasses going to a bar like 7:30 a.m. in the scarf. Then just
I will say,
wish
American soccer fans are like one of the prime reasons that I find myself at times hating America, because whenever we're in the World Cup and I see those douchebags at bars in the DC area, I'm like, I think we're gonna root for Guatemala. Like, you guys suck. You guys are so terrible. Like, you were the worst reflection of America. We should just get rid of that sport here and then like support Latin America at this point or something. Anybody but American soccer, if that's like the kind of person who roots for U.S. soccer.
I don't get it. Bill, do you have scarves?
I thought the best thing he said was that we should ban soccer. I thought that was
just stop there. Yeah,
I thought that was perfect. Nothing more needs to be said.
Yeah, if the World Cup comes, I'll watch it a little bit.
But we've had this conversation before on Papa's Basement. You put the red, white, and blue and USA on anything, and I'll root for it. An 8-year-old kid playing marbles against some Russian, and I'm rooting for that 8-year-old with the USA in his back, and I want that.
Oh my God.
I want that 8-year-old Russian kid to have some horrible thing happen to him.
You cut Bill Rowland, he bleeds red, white, and blue.
Damn
I'm
right.
just saying,
Yeah.
The U.S. men's soccer team is going to test your faith on that one.
Oh no, they're terrible. I know. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'll root for the 3 games that they weren't even in the last World Cup, but for the 3 games in their pool play when they're in the World Cup, when they make it, I'll root for them, and then I won't care the rest of the time when they're not.
No, you're just there when they need you the most.
Exactly.
You know who else is like that? A hero.
That's
hero.
right. That's
so
right.
going into week 1 of football, it was hard to even pay attention to the on-field product or be psyched up for it, because we spent the weekend. And Bill, you've got the sports knowledge in the background. Howard, you've got a lot of, we're none of us are young. We have a bit of history we can compare this to. Antonio Brown melting down via social media in ways that, frankly, I have never seen an athlete or many other professionals, period, do.
The whole thing was strange from the get-go. I mean, everybody was making fun of Pittsburgh when they traded him away. Like, how could you give up on this guy? He's been such a big
You quit on a huge talent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, he quit on them first at the end of last year. Let's keep in mind that he participated in that stupid Fox show, right? Wasn't he on The Masked Singer?
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
That should have been clue number 1 for anybody. This guy has lost it along the way somewhere, because that is just the stupidest show ever. But everybody was kind of like, I can't believe Pittsburgh only got whatever they got, like a 5th round pick and a third.
And a fifth.
Yeah, it was something terrible for him. And then he gets out there and figures out that the Raiders aren't going to be that good. This is my theory anyway. He figures out that the Raiders aren't going to be that good.
Probably true, yeah.
He figures out,
even with him, probably true.
Weeks worth of BS from this guy.
All right.
Though, like the
cryotherapy stuff,
which burns his tootsies,
which I think was done on purpose so he could miss training.
How could it not be done on purpose?
Right.
Do you really think they let $1 million athlete, whoever's at this cryo facility, just raw dog his way through whatever this therapy was? Like, I got LASIK recently. Do you think the doctor would have been cool? Like, yeah, just grab the laser, just wave it around, see what happens. Like, no, man.
Well, and then the helmet thing, I think was also another way for him to avoid training camp.
Yeah.
I just think that he was just finding,
for those not in the know,
played it out for as long as he could.
He bitched and moaned that his chosen helmet, which was like a 12-year-old model, wasn't legal anymore, and he wanted to just paint it with the little Raiders logo and call it a day.
The thing is, he threatened to retire, and I think he did the same as the Steelers saga was ongoing as well. And it was just constantly, since he had a beef with the Steelers first pop up, there was this evidence he was willing to walk away from everything at any time. That's why I wasn't that surprised by the Instagram post, because I was like, he's given every sign he'd be willing to walk away if you mess with him, and they just kept messing with him. So I think it's a 2-way street. The Raiders could have been like, whatever you want, man. We suck. You're probably the best player on the team.
I feel they bent over backwards, because then, we had.
But they fined him $200,000. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, but okay, you had.
Well, they fined him that, I think, once they figured out this was just going to be untenable. I think.
They're going to avoid the contract.
It was after the
Maycock. That's why they went. Yeah, they fined him originally for missing training camp and whatever else it was. It was like $20,000 and something else.
I think it was 58.
In total, which again, completely above the board. I mean, they had every right to do it because he basically dogged on him for training camp. So, I mean, they absolutely had every right to do that. And then when he and Mayock, and who knows how much of it is true and how much it isn't true. I don't care if you called Mayock a cracker or not. It doesn't matter to me. You can't go.
Please, the C word on this show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't go and insult your general manager. You cannot do it because the rest of that locker room,
I feel that
whether
way.
he's a talent or not, the rest of that locker room cannot sit there and be like, man, he's just punking this guy right out in public. F this guy. What do we need to worry about this for? He had to at that point. That's when they're like, we're going to nail him and we're going to make sure that he's not going to have any guaranteed money and that he will either fall in line or he'll be gone. And I firmly believe when that happened, Drew Rosenthal, his agent, immediately put out the word to all of his, to all the other teams. I'm dead serious. Yeah. To all the other teams in the NFL, we're going to be out of here. He's going to be a free agent. Who wants him? Because it was too easy for less than 24 hours later that he's cut from the Raiders and then immediately signed by the Patriots at 4:01 that afternoon.
I mean, you saying less than 24 downplays just how fast it was. Like, I want to say, Friday afternoon, this past weekend, we get whispers he got into it with Maycock or whatever, or Mayock. Mayock, yeah. I like Mycock more. You know? I just put the extra C in there. So Maycock gets into it with Antonio Brown as called a cracker. Saturday night, we get a video dropped on Instagram that is professionally produced. Antonio Brown, looks like something that Fellini would have put together. You know, like black and white, all sorts of almost dreamscape type sequences of him like holding his hands to the sky and stuff, mixed in with an illegal recording of his coach, John Gruden.
We hadn't even got to that yet. Right.
So Gruden then, instead of being like, what else did this guy record? Like, which would be anyone's first leap of logic, says like, I thought the video was cool. Just bending over backwards and really fanning out his ass. Just being like, stay on my team. I'll take whatever. Then Sunday morning, I wake up and I'm just, I do nothing with my life. So I'm like, Reddit football over and over. Sunday morning, apparently he's posting on Instagram, just release me at Raiders.
No, this was Saturday morning.
Was Saturday
morning because he was signed. He was signed Saturday afternoon.
So we've gone from this Friday night thing to then Saturday morning, even after the coach, even after he's pretty much banged his coach's wife in terms of egregiousness. And he's like, you didn't compliment how I banged your wife. And he's like, I just still need out of here. Then by Saturday afternoon, he finally gets his release after all of this BS behavior. And then by Saturday night?
4:01 Saturday afternoon.
He's picked up.
He was signed, sealed, done at 4:01
by the
Patriots.
I know
that's when he became a free agent.
I know you love Tommy Terrific and Bill Belichick, but
they're geniuses.
This is, and Gagliardi kind of hit it on the head for me. We were talking yesterday. There's so much malfeasance there.
of course,
it's going to come out. Like what I so naively haven't put together. He's like, do you not think that Tom Brady is just on the most top of the line illegal stuff that they're just not testing for you? Like, there's a reason I think this dude isn't.
I think Antonio Brown and Bobby Kraft were at the same massage parlor when they had a discussion. It's got to be something on that level. I think it's not even Belichick. It's not even Brady. It's just one of those things of, I hate F the Steelers, F the Raiders. Who can I stick it to? I will take any amount of money. Just say the word that you want me and I'm there.
See, I think he wanted a contender. And what I heard was that, I like how I said what I heard, like I have sources and I didn't just read this on Pro Football Talk. But what was rumored is that last year, the Pats offered a first for the Steelers. And the Steelers were like, we compete with you dudes, albeit not well. We're not giving you that. And so they gave it to the Raiders. And then AB and Rosenhaus or whatever put it out there like, look, the Pats organization put it out to Brown and his agents like, you find a way to get free, like we will grab your ass. And,
of course.
Yeah. And instead of doing what Favre did and just had that horrible year as Brett the Jet. He was like, I'm not even doing that 1 year, and said screw it complete. Like when it was when it was Costanza trying to get fired by the Yankees and he's like running out on the field in the nude suit and stuff like that, just goes full retard to get axed by the Raiders. And he does so, and now he's on the team that he wanted to be on to begin with. The Raiders are out their picks, at least for now. Like,
but the Raiders are, if they're smart, will sue him.
Yes.
And see how, if that will work for them. I don't know that it will, but they'll sue him.
I don't think they can.
Maybe not him. They'll sue to do discovery if there was tampering.
But they should never have released him. Like, it's such a dumb move.
He's going to sue them for his money. And if he wins, he's going to cost the Steelers $20 million in salary cap this year, and it'll cost the Raiders like $25 million in salary cap. Now, I don't think he'll win. I don't think he wins his lawsuit. And I don't know that the Raiders, I think the NFL will go to Oakland and basically say, look, stop this. We're not going to go down this path. We're not going to open up this whole idea of tampering. You guys screwed up. You're the ones that fined him. You're the ones that kind of played with fire. You got burned. Just let it go. You won't lose your cap money. We'll make sure that he doesn't win his lawsuit either. Let's just all move on. They don't need another problem. And it doesn't matter that the 31 other fan bases hate the Patriots. They don't need another issue. They just can't afford it, because even without him, Patriots may have been back in the Super Bowl this year anyway.
Oh yeah. Tom Brady has the craziest wide receiving core I can think of in recent memory. And thank God he needed the help. Let's just say that. God forbid the rich not get richer. They truly are America's team now.
Let's think about it, though. He got 2 touchdown passes last night to Philip Dorsett II, right?
Uh-huh.
Who out there, other than, maybe in Washington before the season started, who out there would have been like, that's the guy we need on our team?
Yeah.
We absolutely need him. He wasn't even on their depth chart on the top 3 going into the game.
I hate the Patriots. They just unbalance everything. I'm
just saying, I get it that you look at it and say, oh, Josh Gordon. Well, Josh Gordon can't. All it's going to take is one bad night in Bainbridge, and Josh Gordon's not playing the rest of the year.
Yeah.
They don't have Gronkowski anymore.
That's the big one. No Gronk.
But he'll come back.
He might now. He might come back week 10 to another Super Bowl ring,
if he can party with Gordon, yeah.
But let's be honest. Did anybody else see that? I thought I picked them to beat the Steelers. I didn't see 33-3 coming.
I think the Steelers are always overrated. They're easy.
I'm with Howard. I don't think they're a great team. And I got 6 minutes into that game. I flipped it on. They're already up like 7-0. I saw them go up 14, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I literally just watched Succession and The Righteous Gemstones. Great show, by the way. Great show. If you need something to do because the Sunday night game sucks, good old Danny McBride.
There was that part of me. See, going into it, I strongly dislike Ben Rapisberger, and I just wanted it to be true that he needed AB
Ben
more than the other way around.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, AB is such a great receiver, and I think the Rapisberger is so overrated. I'm like, there's no way Big Ben is going to be as good as he has been without his top target. There's no way. And that's what we got last night. It's like, oh, guess what? How's this guy going to be this year?
But you know what?
It could be more of the same.
They still probably win that division.
Ooh, no. Ravens looked amazing.
The Dolphins have players after 1 week screaming that they want out.
All right.
Like they're in a hostage situation.
That is, you know what? We'll go to the actual game talk now, because that might be my week 1 story. Literally, are the Ravens that good? Or are the Dolphins that bad?
Both.
Bill, it wasn't even 1 week in. I believe at halftime there were certain players.
Oh, I'm sure
hitting up their
calling to their agent. Just like
the Dolphins got slacked 59 to what
10.
was it? 10.
Yeah, and the Ravens, though, going back to the division, they got 6 games upcoming now against Cincinnati, new coach, right?
Yeah.
The Browns, new coach, who played terribly.
Oh, they got what they deserved yesterday.
And at best, historically, the Ravens always split with the Steelers.
Sure.
I think the Ravens sweep them this year.
But Cincinnati wasn't bad. They went on the road and almost beat
a
Seattle team that's expected to go deep in the NFC playoffs.
I was impressed.
They did okay.
Dalton balled out. Dalton.
I know.
The Dalton line holding it down, man.
We'll see. I mean,
with no AJ Green.
Yeah.
Seattle doesn't really have a powerhouse offense.
Sorry, what happened to Green?
He's been out. He's
Is he still
ankle,
dinged up?
Yeah.
Jesus, man. He's been prone lately.
But I mean, Seattle's not known really at this point for having a high-powered offense. I think anybody can keep a close game with them at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, still hanging with them is something.
It's something. I'm just saying good luck to Cincinnati when they have to go up against the Ravens twice. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm curious now because I watched that Ravens game. We'll talk Skins in a bit, but I was juggling that with the Redskins game, and it was like, I don't know, like Tale of Two Cities. You know? Like, I wouldn't say that. The
Dolphins are awful.
Did okay for their first half, but Dolphins, well, okay, here's my question. As a dude, you probably pay more attention to the league than me. I know that they got rid of Tunsil. And
yes, they traded him to Houston.
Yes, they got rid of him for like a couple of 2 firsts or something like that. And I'm trying to remember who the hell else they got rid of, but like, what else indicated a pure fire sale on that? On their part,
Ryan Fitzpatrick is their starter.
Well, I get that, but like, was the roster just that garbage that they really had like Tunsil and like no one else? So you get rid of Tunsil, and it's like, oh my god, that's it.
You don't watch college ball.
Rarely, yeah.
Tua is worth tanking for. I truly believe that about him, and then Trevor Lawrence 2 years from now. Whereas the number 1 pick next year and the year after, those two teams are getting probably the best quarterbacks available since I'd say, I don't know what, Cam Newton maybe, or Andrew Luck. I mean,
really,
you really haven't had number 1.
Those guys will be good. Those guys will be good.
So people are they want that pick.
You never know.
You're basically going back to suck for luck is kind of what the Dolphins.
So they've already done whatever the hell. What did they do to get Rosen then? This poor kid Rosen.
Well, that's the thing is, are they going to go back to the well if they have the number 1 pick and never take a look at Rosen?
I mean,
which is stupid. Like Miami,
you just wasted the pick on
whatever
him.
the hell they traded for. Miami's like what, one of 3 cities with a big Jewish population. Like they could have done something so cool.
No,
like
they
that.
traded a 2nd-round pick for him, so
they
got a
kidding?
1st-round pick for a second.
Can you imagine if Rosen blew up? How big that would be in Miami? Like how much Jewish people still have Sandy Koufax, and that was like 300 years ago.
They put him into the game. I think he had 3 passes. He had 3 attempts when they were getting blown out. One of them was an interception. Like, there's a reason Ryan Fitzpatrick is starting over him. He's really bad.
Oh, he's not ready.
I don't think Rosen's not ready. Yeah, but like that could have been a cool story. That's all I'm saying.
They can't let him go out there with as bad a team as there is right now. They have to like prove to everyone first. This is a terrible team. You can't stick them out there.
They would get him killed, but it's like, I don't know, man. Jewish people don't get a lot of sports stars. That's almost. It's like when who was it? Jeremy Lin. When, like how many sports stars do Asian people get? So when Linsanity blew up, it was like every Asian dude, like the way Whitey still wears the Cooley jerseys.
Was Jeremy Lin had to be dropping 20 a night in order for Chinese people to care. Jews have the same, like, listen, I'm Asian, my wife is Jewish.
Yeah.
And I promise you, Jews and Asians have that in common of like, you can't come and brag on your kid unless they're good at something.
Yeah.
So you can't have Josh Rosen show up at the Dolphins and stink, and then everybody's
he needs to ball out.
Whatever. Why didn't he go to law school if he was going to be like that terrible at quarterback?
Is it too late for med school? His poor parents. Yeah, I get it, but like, damn, man, that would have been a cool story. That's all I'm saying.
It could still be a cool story if he doesn't suck at football.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like any good.
And if they don't Derek Carr him.
And is it, but honestly, would it even be his fault? I mean, could you put him with another team that has like a decent offensive line and a
no one knows
staff?
He's been in every bad situation possible,
and that's almost not fair to him because he's just has no chance.
Yeah, no,
has no
dude,
chance
it's just,
at all.
It's life. It's a microcosm of life. You can be talented and get put in a couple of bad situations, and then you just become this what if story.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's strange because I had him and Lamar Jackson as my top 2 quarterbacks in last year's draft because they both played for former NFL coaches, and I figured they're probably going to be able to play at the NFL level based on what I've seen from them in college. And the other 3 guys all sucked yesterday because Josh Allen played against Sam Darnold in a terrible game. I feel sorry for anybody who had to watch the Bills play the Jets because you watch 2 busts fighting for like possibly their only win this season.
King of the busts.
Yeah. And then Baker Mayfield got blown out.
I don't know. They both play Miami. They both get Miami twice.
Yeah.
So,
That's gonna be an ugly division. It's Bus City.
well, which is why New England will go like 13-3.
Why do you
We'll
mash
be-
that button on me? God damn it.
Oh my God.
Is there any, there's no story more important to New England's dynasty than have you seen the goddamn AFC East since Marino left?
It is amazing that, well, even I mean, Buffalo was good for a while there in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's amazing that all this time, I mean, think about the turnover that the NFC East has had. I mean, my God, even the Redskins have won a couple of division titles in the last 20 years. Yeah. But there's nothing going on in the AFC East that makes you think on any level that any of those teams can compete with New England.
No.
And it's been that way for near a decade now.
Yeah, and it's not like some chicken and egg thing where it's like, are the Patriots that good? No, the other teams just suck. Like, there's no reason those teams are being held back down. Miami shows, if you're even competent, you can steal some wins if you're in division from the Patriots.
They beat them for the last 5 years in Miami.
But the Jets have just sucked. The Bills have just sucked. How sad was it? Was it 2 years ago when the Bills limped into the postseason?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and the Bills mafia's going nuts, just taking fireball enemas and jumping through all kinds of card tables and stuff. And you're like, you're just gonna lay the biggest egg next week, which they did. What ass team beat them? It was
I don't remember.
Horrible game.
The only time another team in the East won a game in the playoffs.
You're right. Yeah. Jacksonville got him.
Was it Jacksonville?
Yeah, I'm 100% on that.
But it was Rex Ryan was the Jets coach. I almost forgot about that period of time where he actually won games against the Pats. In the
that
playoffs.
Was the biggest rival they've had. Mark goddamn Sanchez and Rex Ryan.
What, twice went to the AFC title game, or just
their first 2
year?
years? No, their first
times.
two.
Yeah,
and that
with
was
Mark Sanchez
with the Sanchez.
That was a great defense, man.
Yeah, that's all you can say. You literally have to say Mark Sanchez as quarterback. Man, what a defense.
Yeah,
that asshat clown as your coach. Man, what a defense. Yeah,
but
that's it.
But other than that blip,
that's it.
There's been, Miami hasn't had anything.
Nothing.
The Bills haven't had anything.
Yeah.
Other than that 2-year blip.
Yeah, since Brady
Jets,
became the starter for New England, it's been
nothing.
It's like
ridiculous.
The Cowboys in a division with 3 Redskins. It's idiotic, and it's paved the way. And I'm not saying the Patriots aren't some incredible dynasty. And I don't think Belichick's an evil genius and stuff.
It's just, it helps when you don't have a division to play against. I would not want to be in the AFC South right now. That's going to be they're going to beat the crap out of each other.
You're going to get the ass beat out of you. Yeah, dude. It just, again, it goes right back to what I'm saying about it's preparation meeting luck. Belichick they could be 2 Super Bowl wins or 3 if the AFC East were a division. Just enough to steal, think about it, just enough to steal 2 wins from those dudes, knocks them off that damn perpetual bye week.
Or home field advantage, too.
Yeah,
I mean, that
always
been
this
part of it.
home field path through Foxborough, and it's just the same old drill to these guys. The way other teams view the regular season, they get to prep for the postseason at this point. It's we get our week off. Yeah. We have the 2 games at Foxborough, then the Super Bowl. That's it. That's all they have to think about because the AFC East sucks dick.
By the way, it was Jacksonville, but it was only 10-3.
I remember it. Yeah, Jacksonville couldn't score.
Horrific.
Oh man, that was one of the worst games ever.
Yeah, but you're
they're
not going to lose, but this game sucks. Yeah,
it's pathetic.
It was a horrible game. I remember flipping to it.
I was like, what is the world that we live in when it's Tyrod Taylor versus Blake Bortles? I was like, this can't be 2 playoff teams. Are you serious?
I forgot it was the Tyrod era. Yeah. Oh,
so rough.
Jesus, that was the worst game. I don't normally turn off playoff ball, but I definitely was. I was at a friend's house and we were just video game for a quarter, go back briefly.
You guys watch The Good Place ever? Have you seen that show?
I saw the premiere and I want to like it because the Michael Schur guy that does it is brilliant.
Okay, I've given it a shot. I actually like it, but one of the running gags is that there's an Asian EDM DJ is one of the main humans who's part of the show.
Okay,
he's got this obsession with Blake Bortles. It's so strange. He's like this horrible idiot.
Some writer must be a Jacksonville fan.
And I just love the fact that he constantly is talking about oh, I love the Jaguars. They're going to be great. I promise you. Blake Bortles is a champion. And it's just been this running gag for the entire series. It's so strange that they single him out.
There's nothing sadder than when you finally moved on from a failed attempt at a franchise QB, because then it's nothing but how many years did we school under this great defense? Like, all you can do afterwards, once the QB is gone, you can just look back and be like, what if, man? What if?
But yeah, going back to how you get a quarterback, like so I'm a big Belichick fan. I don't like Tom Brady. I think all of it's about Belichick. Like being able to take he was a 6th-round pick, turn him into a franchise QB. Yes. You look at what Jacoby Brissett is now. He balled hard for Indy this week.
He looked good.
Garoppolo just beat Jameis Winston, and it's like you look at all these like 1st-round picks in the last few years, and it's just like, who wouldn't take Garoppolo over Jameis and all the other 1st-round picks in the last like 3-4 years? Dude, it's crazy.
I'm a broken record here. All you have to do is the year he's out, Matt Castle, they go in 11-5, miss the play. One of the only 11-5 teams to miss the playoffs. Yeah, but like
miss the playoffs.
One of the only years the damn Dolphins did anything. The year Brady was suspended for 4. They take Garoppolo for 2 or 3,
and Brissett played.
And Brissett was the last game, and like I think they go 3-1 in that stretch or something. Brissett was the only loss, or am I wrong? They 2-2'd it. But I mean, like, I guarantee you, Belichick is just there to outlast Brady, and then take goddamn Gus Frerotte and go 15-1 with him. Just mark my damn words.
I mean, I get that.
He's going to take Fitzpatrick. He's going to take Fitzpatrick.
Belichick does an amazing job scheming, and they've had a lot of.
He is a schemer.
They've had a lot of brain drain that left their assistants that left and became head coaches elsewhere that have not panned out very well.
You could not pay me. You could not pay me to take a former Patriots. I wouldn't take a damn Patriots water boy. He wouldn't know how to do that.
Yeah,
that guy runs everything.
But you still have to have the guy to make the throws and keep your composure and make. I mean, he's not out there. He's not out there running the 2-minute offense, twice down the stretch to get game-winning field goals.
But like without Belichick, realistically, without Belichick, who does he line up with then success-wise in this league? Like on raw talent, do you think he's a Drew Brees? Do you think
he's better than Drew Brees?
Do you think raw talent-wise is better than Brees? How about discount double check?
No.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
no.
To me, I think Rodgers is the best maybe I've ever seen.
Yeah, I take his 1 ring over what like Brady has done, because to me those are Belichick's rings.
That's how I feel. Yeah. That is how I feel. Like if you put Brady on any other team, like I think he's Aaron like a Rodgers, 1-ring QB.
Here's what sucks for Rodgers: he should never have like stayed with the Packers. Because like his 1 ring wild card team, they were on the road every time. Anytime they've been good and got home field. You can't like have a passing game in Green Bay in like winter. Come on. You're not going to win a Super Bowl that way. So that's why to me, I'm like,
Brett Favre's on line 2, by the way.
Yeah.
But I mean,
his dick's on line 3.
I'm just saying, like, so here's the thing with I'll give Brady credit on he knows how to come back. I don't think they've ever had, you see few quarterbacks who can play from behind like he has. You got to give him credit for that. But as far as the way he just does what Belichick says with the lead, that Super Bowl last year is awful because they play so conservatively on offense when they're ahead.
Oh, God.
When he's finally allowed to let loose because, they're down 28-3 against the Falcons, that was fun. But when it's like, oh, we have the lead, let's just keep the lead. Don't turn the ball over, Tom. And Tom's like, sure, we always, because Tom is a smart guy. I'm also going to give him that. I've heard the interviews where he's like, yeah, if we don't turn over the ball, we win. I'm with Bill on this.
Simple math. Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, okay, you win, but I lose because I don't want to drink as much as I have to when it's a boring, I still resent the Patriots. I've said it on the show before, but that Super Bowl they won against Carolina, I guess it was their second win, right?
The Rams was the first.
Worst hangover I've ever had after a Super Bowl, because before last year's Super Bowl, it was the worst Super Bowl I'd watched up until the end of the 3rd quarter. Then the 4th quarter was awesome. I was so drunk. I still remember the game and nothing but the game because the 4th quarter against Carolina, they were just trading touchdowns. But I had to drink so much Sambuca up to that point because there were no first downs basically in the entire first half. It was an awful game because John Fox and Bill Belichick are like, well, don't lose the game, guys. Don't lose the game. Oh, it's the 4th quarter. Oh, they just scored. We got to score. And then it got fun. And I hate that style of calling where it's like, hey, we're just trying not to lose and have a chance at the end. I'm like, that means a really long time before I see anything cool happen.
Yeah, and that was before people I think had at least recognized what the Patriots, like, if you play tight ass against them when you're up, you're gonna lose. And people still don't really like. Doug Peterson was the only dude who was like, yeah, Philly. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but I'm gonna give Andy Reid credit last year because at least he tried to go for it, and they were close.
Yeah.
It's one of the few times, because I'll check the stats. Like, New England always has home field. They rarely went on the road in the playoffs. I told my friends, I was like, put money on Kansas City because they're hosting in the AFC Championship. And they all flipped on me later. They were like, what are you talking about? And it's like, well, there was that one, there was that one offsides that really, there were a couple penalties on that last drive where it could have gone either way.
Yep.
So I don't think I was wrong necessarily, but at least Andy Reid went for it. They were like, we're going to try to win against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Because I never beat Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to go for it.
Exactly. That's what you got to do, man. You just got to go for broke.
And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least you're not getting humiliated in the way that Blake Bortles did against them, you know?
Oh, God. Yeah. What is did Jacksonville, they went up 14-0 and suddenly, 59 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. They're like, we just got to play from ahead. It was boring, weak play calling, and they lost, and they deserved it.
Yeah, Matt Ryan looked like a bitch, too. When they lost in that Super Bowl, it's just is that how you want to go down? You got a big lead, and then you went down like a bitch? Or do you just want to play to the end and then lose?
Yeah, let's feed our running back. Oh, we went 3 and out 9 times in a row.
That's why you remember Blake Bortles crying after that game? I was like, you're done. You don't cry in football.
And everybody thought Jacksonville would be back.
Yeah. Oh,
how did that work out for them?
Oh, God. Now Big Dick Nick broke his neck or whatever. He's paralyzed.
Shoulder.
Yeah, I know. Same difference.
How long is he out? Do they know?
Indefinitely.
Yeah, as of this recording, I don't think I've seen anything. I said a number of weeks. I would imagine at least 3.
Oof. Minimum. Oh, I mean,
be my guess.
It's legit broken bone, dude. I figure he might be
if it's legit, I just heard that he separated it. So
really? Legit, I thought it was broken.
If it's a broken collarbone, it's at least 8.
I was gonna say 8-ish. Yeah, he might be
IR.
Oof.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
It's not good. I heard the dude that came in was not bad, but you bring in Fultz.
I mean, not bad when you're already down 20. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can just have some fun with it.
Yeah,
get loose.
But all right, setting aside the AFC South, I think in the AFC you got 3 clear teams to look at. It's Kansas City, the Ravens, and New England. And between those 3, I'm really excited right now about who's going to win it, because I don't think there's a clear favorite right there.
Out of those 3, no, because the all 3 of them have. You can bag on Reed all you want. Those are all good coaches, man.
Yeah,
and the talent. Tom's on the one end of the spectrum in terms of age, but the other quarterbacks are young as hell, just getting better. I mean, Mahomes balled the hell out apparently yesterday. I didn't watch a ton of the game, but
I do feel like Belichick, for whatever reason, has Andy Reid's number. He's just always beat him for whatever reason, but he doesn't have that same against Harbaugh. Harbaugh's done pretty well against Belichick.
Harbaugh's done all right. Yeah. I mean,
he's actually beat him twice in the playoffs. Not a lot of people can say
that's true. Yeah. It's so weird that you have to be like, oh, Harbaugh's got his number. And it's overall record, Belichick 4-2 versus Harbaugh or something like that. But against the Patriots, that's having their number, I guess.
Well, I think for Kansas City, I mean, they lost Tyreek Hill yesterday. So
how long is he out?
I don't think they know. He ended up in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, they took him to the hospital. And
how's that for irony?
Yeah, it's not good at all. But they're almost like New England in the sense of they've got so many weapons and so much speed, and they just stretch the field on you. I do think, although they didn't play well late in the game yesterday, which is kind of their thing that they do every year, I still think the former San Diego Chargers are going to be a threat to them. I still think the Chargers are going to be a threat to Kansas City at some point.
It was pretty close last year. Yeah.
Yeah. I love.
I forgot that. Yeah, they did.
Phillip Rivers is probably the most underappreciated quarterback, I think, of the last decade. When you look at the numbers that he puts up, you look at the things that he's been able to do. Nobody talks about him in the same breath as these other guys because he's never had the chance. He's never won a Super Bowl.
I think a lot of people talk about him in the exact way you just talked about him. Where it's he's very good, and then it's but will he ever he's not going to be Hall of Fame because he doesn't have any.
I don't know.
He's borderline. He's borderline.
I mean,
if he gets, I don't even think he has to win a Super Bowl. If he can just get back to the AFC Championship game,
if he can just have that 10th kid.
Yeah, I was going to say
have all 10.
He's got a bunch of kids. People don't like him for that.
Pulling out. Oh my God.
But I mean, how many times has he been burned by a lousy kicker?
Well,
I mean, there have been probably at least 2 or 3 playoff games in his career that I bet if you go back and look, he's lost because of a kicker.
I mean, again, it's all just how it shakes out for you.
I understand that. He just seems to be cursed in that regard.
Yeah. So he's one pea hair away from being Brady, pretty much. Like,
no, wait a minute. I'm not saying that. I don't think he would have taken San Diego to 9 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that, but he probably should have been in at least one or two
one ring by this point.
Or at least have an opportunity to have another shot at a Super Bowl.
I mean, has he even played an AFC Championship game? I don't even think he's got there. Is why nobody talks about him.
I want to say yes.
Because I almost
want to say no.
They always blew it. There was that 14-2
14-2 with Schottenheimer, yeah.
And they lost in the divisional round.
And then they had, was that the same year that they were literally the number 1 offense, number 1 defense with a 30-second special teams unit? And they lost?
Yeah,
I think so. That's like one statistic you always see bandied about.
I will look it up. You guys talks amongst yourselves.
But all right, so we talked a lot about AFC so far. Mm-hmm. And so did you want to do anything with the NFC games?
What do you want to hear? That the Redskins managed to get my goddamn expectations up yet again, even though I'm done with the team and I'm done with them every year. You know what happens at 1 p.m.?
I think
first Sunday. Oh, I put on my Fox 5, Howard. I put on Fox 5 and I juggled it with the damn Raiders game, or I'm sorry, the Ravens game. And they looked okay at first. They were up 17-0 at one point. And you know what I did? I believed like an idiot, like a goddamn dummy. I believed. And then they went into the half 20-6, and I smelled trouble. I smelled it, Howard. And they find a way every goddamn year to get me to buy in somewhat, or at least every other season. I shouldn't say every year. I'm somewhat inoculated at this point, but at least every other year. And this was the year. This was one of those years, week 1. I was like, oh my God, maybe they're going to do it in Philly. And then no. How many touchdowns did Carson Wentz throw when the defense was on him? And it looked like when Bill Paxton was getting killed in Aliens. And it was like 5 aliens on him, pulling him under the ground. And he's like screaming, die, mother effer, and firing his plasma rifle. But he's still on corks to Deshaun Jackson, who gets the touchdown. And it happened over and over. And I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it anymore, man.
It's a shame they lost that game, because I was just thinking the whole time, man, if they could pull it out in Philly, they need to like sneak one on them week 1, because when Philly goes to Washington, that's another home game for them. Like that stadium's just full of Philly fans when they come
Philly
to DC
people
now.
Are savages, by the way. And it's like anyone I know personally from Philly. My good improv buddy, Peppery Pete, as we call him. We got Sam out front. Sam's good people. Anyone individually I know. God, I sound like a racist talking. Look, any individual black.
I don't hate them. Some of my best friends are Philly fans. Yeah.
But they attacked a Sixers player walking to the game in a Skins jersey. And I mean, like, physically attacked. Like, they recorded on a camera phone, like some pudgy white guy was trying to stick it to like a 6'8" brother with like a 90-inch wingspan who like judo through the guy, you know, but like, that's what they do. They're like, oh, hello. I mean, what crap has Bryce Harper worn cap-wise through the years, right?
He's a Cowboys fan.
Exactly. That's
and
what
he's from Vegas, so he loves the new hockey team there. He refused to support the Caps.
Thank you. Yeah. But we were throwing batteries at him like he was a Santa Claus, you know, like maybe we're just not passionate enough. I don't know. But like the Philly fans are maniacs. One of their own basketball players, they just physically with fists try to assault him on the way to a game. Who would do that?
Philly fans.
Oh,
that's exactly
God.
who.
What horrible people. Horrible.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play?
So I bought in for a half, and then they just started going down in flames.
They were who you thought they were.
Yeah, exactly.
But are they worse?
Their ass.
Are they worse than the Giants? I think that's the question that I left thinking yesterday about the NFC East. Like the Giants look horrendous.
The Giants look bad. I think the Redskins, if their entire cadre of rookie wideouts can make something happen, maybe something will happen.
Third place
to do a Yogi Berra.
Not in the cellar. I think that's what we're hoping for right now for you.
I can do not in the cellar, yeah. As long as the Cowboys don't win, that's my Super Bowl. Like, it's just the Cowboys losing and the Patriots losing. I can live with anything else. Like, that's it.
So you just root for the earth to open up and swallow the stadium if Dallas and New England play the Super Bowl.
Like a double We Are Marshall. Like, just maybe the planes hit each other. Yeah, that would be incredible.
Wow.
The league could breathe a sigh of relief there. The whole offseason chatter is how much the Cowboys have put themselves in cap hell with Zeke and Cooper and all that stuff. And now they've got Dak coming up next year to re-sign him. And they all look very good. So I wouldn't call that cap hell. That's called keeping your good players who are winning you games.
Well, they signed one of their offensive linemen to like a $60 million deal. They signed one of their
linebackers, right?
Linebackers up to a big deal. So, I mean, they have
it will be tight, yeah.
But they came in having a bunch of space, and they've done a pretty decent job. They showed that graphic yesterday, how I think from their 2016 draft alone, they still have 6 guys on the roster. The Giants have 2, and one of them was inactive.
Yeah.
So
who's that Nazi ass sounding first rounder of theirs? Van Der Esch or something?
Van Der Esch,
Yeah. Oh God. That guy looks like Hitler Youth. That just when was he taken? Was he 2017?
He might have been last year.
Really?
This might only be his second year.
Is he a linebacker?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. That dude bugs me. He's too good. I've heard that name way too much. Like, not really paying attention to their drafts, and then like watching a couple boys games, because what other option do you have living on the East Coast?
Yeah.
And I would just hear Van Der Esch sack, Van Der Esch this, Van Der Esch. I'm like, who is this son of a bitch? And yeah, just yet another draft pick. I mean, it's like a first rounder. You better hit on your damn first rounders.
Sure.
But
not everybody does, though.
Yeah, exactly. He ain't bad, man. Good Lord.
See what Josh Dawson did, or not Josh Dawson. Oh shoot. The guy from the Redskins who went to the Jets, the receiver.
Lavernius Coles.
Blank. No.
No.
Oh, Jamison Crowder.
What did
had
he
like
do?
11 catches or something yesterday, or something
man.
crazy. Might have even been
Boy.
14, maybe. He might even had 14.
What did Doxson do for the Vikes? Because that, by the way,
I don't think he did anything.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That dude. God, what a bust. God, what a bust.
Dalvin Cook came back for the Vikings hard. He was one of the bigger stories yesterday because he could probably carry them where Kirk Cousins can't.
If he pulls a Vince Carter over there, I will.
I mean, they put up a bunch of points, and I want to say Cousins threw for less than 100 yards.
Are you kidding me? They were up 28-0.
I know.
12 minutes into the game.
I think that was right. By the way, San Diego 2007 lost in the AFC title game.
Okay. Did they? Okay.
2.
That was I didn't even register that year because that was the year that everybody was.
Oh, was that Peyton?
That was 15-1. That was Randy Moss just crushing it because I love Randy Moss, so I was all in on the Patriots.
Anytime somebody asks you an AFC title game, just guess the Patriots. Yeah. More often than not, you're going to be correct.
Oh God, that was a great Super Bowl though. I love that Super Bowl.
See, that's the thing. Like as a free agent fan, I'm like one of the few times I've been like all in on the Patriots was when they had Randy Moss.
Yeah, you love your grad from Rand University.
Just shake your dick at him. Yeah,
straight cash on me. Yeah.
So I love that guy, and it's just when they lost, I was like, "Damn, I'm never gonna live this down," because I'm one of those people.
He had 2 heartbreaking Super Bowl losses because then he free agents.
You talking about Randy Moss?
Yeah, because then you were a little 49ers boy. I remember you wearing that stuff
barely
when we were kids.
It didn't even register he was on that team because he was like a third
shut up.
down.
You talked about it at the time, though. You talked about it at the time.
But I mean, at the same time, like I've always loved watching the Ravens succeed where the Redskins failed, and so just I love every time that the Ravens bring home another Super Bowl title. That's why I was just like, this is awesome, man. I mean,
so I'll never live down not being in Baltimore for that game. Even my brother, who's not a big football dude, was watching it from the Scores titty bar. Degenerate.
That's a good way to do.
I would have just done it at Chaps Pit Beef, man. Just that's how you get a real party popping.
Dude, you got to start off a Super Bowl party in Baltimore with Chaps Pit Beef, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Just
maybe stop by Pickles Pub while you're wandering around.
Well, I got a Chaps and go to the strip club right next door. What was that one? I don't remember.
Who cares? It's the strip club by Chaps Beef.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just get your greasy horseradish fingers all over them bosoms.
That's why it's out there, right?
What?
They couldn't get zoning to be in a regular part of the city. They would only let them be over by the strip clubs. That's why the Pit Beef places are all in strip club parking lots.
Really?
Why won't they give them the ability.
Because the smoke. Nobody wants to have a pippy smoke near their.
I mean, it smells
respected
awesome.
business.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want that?
And if you have a Ralphie, one of the dancers, you just cook them,
I mean,
up with the pippy.
Let's be honest. It's going to smell better than the rest of Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
It is ironic. It's like, this smells too bad for Baltimore.
Yeah. Damn, do I love that city.
Kirk Cousins yesterday, 8 out of 10, 98 yards.
Okay, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, he's on a 3-year deal. They got 2 more left, and it's just like, Dalvin Cook, please stay healthy because we're gonna need you December and January.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ran the ball 38 times.
He's a beast. That dude is a beast.
I mean, he didn't. The team ran. He only had 21.
Amazing Cousins.
Still,
38 rushing attempts.
38, but still 38 to 10 was their rushes to passing yesterday.
That's insane.
I mean, it did take a big lead
in this
early.
day and age in the NFL, that's crazy.
But once you have the lead, it's just like, okay, stop this. We're just gonna run the clock out because you're getting crushed.
I guess.
Matt Ryan's a bitch.
He is. Oh God. I've always said I could be wrong, but maybe it's just the hairline. He looks a lot like Peter North, the porn star. Like I've always thought he looked very Peter Northian.
I think he would take that as a compliment. I would.
I mean, you look at it. Go back to 2 years ago. The Patriots killed both teams. Just ended them. Jacksonville and Atlanta ended them both.
Yeah.
Ended them both. Neither one has recovered since what the Patriots did to them that playoff.
If they die, they die.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, like I look at that as an aberration year for the Falcons because Matt Ryan, he never makes the playoffs. He's kind of like Eli Manning. I think he's done it like twice. He's had decent runs. And then the rest of the time, it's like, oh, they missed again.
They've made it
Surprise,
a lot,
surprise.
I thought. They just won and done a ton
I just think that, again, it's been the organization's inability to put a good defense with him.
He's kind of Philip Riversian, if you will.
He's still going down that path.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't disrespect Philip Rivers like that. I don't think Matt Ryan's had that great a career. I do not think he's on the same level as Philip Rivers.
But I'm just saying the team line has been a ton of what Rivers was his first 10-ish years, where it's like they get to the postseason with varying levels of expectation. It's always like, this is the year they get over the hump, and then they go home typically yet again. And that one time with Kyle Shanahan as the OC,
right?
They got it done, and then they just laid that.
I mean, he's got look at the offense that they have with now Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, and their tight end was Hopper, whatever his name is.
It was both
Devontae Freeman.
I'm just saying
they had Coleman until this year. I mean, but their defense has been crap.
I'm just saying with that offense, Ryan Fitzpatrick would look amazing. That's a really tight squad.
Maybe a horrible thing to say. About
what would Tom Brady do with those weapons? I mean,
but here's my thing. So
we can
Joe
watch
Flacco
the rest of the season. Let's check it out.
I really do not like Joe Flacco. I thought it was great.
Joseph, go on, yeah.
The Ravens had him on his rookie deal when they signed him to like the biggest contract for quarterback. I'm like, you guys are morons.
Oh, that was the worst thing ever.
But
that was the worst.
Here's the thing. When they did that, then the Falcons had to up the ante with Matt Ryan because they were in the same draft class. And I'm just like, to this day, as someone who always thought Joe Flacco didn't deserve that kind of money, I've never felt like Matt Ryan was better than Joe Flacco. He's never proven himself to be better than Joe Flacco. That's a problem because Joe Flacco's not that good.
No, I'll never, when people jerked off about that whole playoff run of his where they won the second ring for the Ravens, off the top of my head, I can remember 3 busted coverages.
No, the Denver game.
Yes.
Just the Denver game alone, there were 2 of them.
I've never seen people open like that. Like it's like the cornerback had a Fred Sanford heart attack 10 yards down, and the dude was just sitting there like literally like waving, like, I'm over here, Joe. I've never in my life seen that.
They had the one too that it hit off of didn't hit off the Denver corner and like up into the air, and they were able to catch it and run it in.
Oh, it was like some angels in the backfield type stuff. Yeah.
They had a couple that you're just like, are you serious?
Like, come on. Yeah. And then they have to pay him based on that. They have to pay Joe Flacco based on chaos theory, pretty much. It was BS, man. And like he just wasn't. They were in such a horrible setup, like just a bad situation because he gambled on himself, as they like to say, and he won. It was contract year. He played it out. They win the Super Bowl. So you have to be like, oh, son of a bitch, this is happening. This is really happening. You can't let him go, especially because his play did look good in that one postseason, but like by the flukiest means possible.
But I'm saying now, I forget his name, the GM who's been in charge of everything from the beginning, just retired.
Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah.
Ozzie Newsome.
Great guy, by the way.
Love the pick to redeem himself for the Flacco contract renewal. I think by drafting Lamar Jackson.
Oh, and he jumps up into the first again. Yeah.
He just, that was genius because I think he set him up for their next Super Bowl ring. I really do feel that good about Harbaugh plus Lamar Jackson and this new offense. Even RG3 came in at the end, and it's like, oh, is that the offense the Redskins should have been running for RG3 the whole time? Who'd ever thought to build an offense around your first round draft pick quarterback? Who on earth would ever do that?
I don't know. That's some novel thought. Yeah, I don't want to think about it.
But you look good, man. RG3 looked great running that offense.
It was Miami.
That's
Please do not start with RG3 as an NFL caliber starter.
This is
just
he might be ahead of Case Keenum.
This is what the game has become, though. You either need your quarterback to be on his rookie deal or to be banging a model that makes $100 million. And where
does that leave Drew Brees then?
You pay the cable bill.
He ain't won a Super Bowl since he became top paid.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to see it happen. And everyone's like, oh, the Patriots way, the Patriots way. Yeah, Tom Brady don't have to make a damn thing for his family.
Because he's 10th highest paid quarterback. He likes hovering around number 10. He doesn't like being number 1.
He doesn't even make the most money in his household.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the kids make more. They're like Insta influencers. I don't. It's not talked about enough, and it's something Ron Bennington brought up 5 years ago, and I'll never stop yapping about it.
I'm never gonna complain about it because I'm like, Aaron Rodgers, if he wants to win more, he should take less money. If he's like, oh, I only got 1 ring, but I'm better than Tom Brady, I'm like, you want to be better than Tom Brady? Take a pay cut. Because
I guess so. I mean, it's just like, why can't these guys get more in ad revenue? Because God knows the NBA players, I know LeBron's like the king of kings.
It's a lot of the agents tell you got to get respect for who you are at your position, etc. And then there are guys.
They just want their cut, though. They're just serpents in your ear. They just want their sweet 10% cut of whatever the hell you're earning. And so another couple of mil a year represents a lot of money for them.
Yeah, no, it's hard because I really like Russell Wilson, but I still haven't decided how I like his latest deal. I can't remember the numbers, but it's just you always got to be careful when you give a guy big money as quarterback position, because if you're rewarding him for past service, you're not going to win again.
Yeah.
You got to be able to build a team that can win with the guy. And Brady has always been like, yeah, I didn't come here to get paid and not get a ring. So tell me who else we need on the team. $22 million is pretty good money last I checked. So
right. Well, especially if you're Brady and you're going to do it for another 3 to 4 years when he was looking at the next contract and you go, okay, that's still $80 million.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'll make it work.
Yeah. Just every time Flacco got paid more than him, just in his mind, he's probably like, good, I'm going to beat his ass next time I see him anyway.
Yeah.
So. He doesn't care.
No, there really is some sort of it's chess, man. It's a game of limited resources. If you give that much to the quarterback, then the team's going to suck, and you're just setting yourself up for the January heartbreak.
Well, I think it's worse, and I think Dallas will find this out. Maybe not this year, but this is probably 2 or 3 years down the road. It's worse if you give it to a running back.
Oh, there's no worse investment.
I mean, that's
no worse.
That's the dumbest thing you can do is to give a running back that kind of money. Now, you're seeing San Diego's, but we're not going to give you that money. And by the way, you want to find somebody that'll trade for you? Have at it. Good luck.
Oh, God. Yeah.
The same thing with Pittsburgh did with Le'Veon Bell last year. They're like, I'm not giving you that money.
The running back is like marrying a 30-year-old who's 38, 24, 42 measurements. It's not going to hold together much longer, and you're going to just be stuck with a bad investment. I mean, the running
love running backs, though. I'm biased. I love that style of play. So,
but you're not going to give a guy $20 million a year. You don't want your running back to cost you that much.
It has to be the most, in terms of you can get 80% of the performance of a 20 mil back for 500,000.
I'm just if I know I have the next Hall of Fame running back, which we have fewer and fewer of those guys now, by the way. It's weird. There's just
weird. I think they know that if they're not great, they're going to get paid crap. So they go to other positions if they
or
can help
sports.
Yeah, other sports. Yeah, they go to football.
Yeah. No, it's hard because Adrian Peterson's the last great running back we have, right? It's been now suddenly Saquon. Frank Gore, everybody's like, oh, this is amazing. I don't know if Saquon's going to be durable. I look at his I look at his like body type and how he plays. I don't know if he's going to be more than a rookie contract either.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, Zeke is decent. Saquon's decent.
You're talking about guys that are 2 or 3 years.
No, you're completely. They're career, still fresh. Yeah.
How many guys are like 10 in? You know, there's really not many. You talk about AP and Frank Gore. Frank Gore has never won a rushing title.
I mean, LaShawn McCoy, but he's not an elite guy anymore. I mean, he went to Kansas City. He got a bunch of carries yesterday, but I think over the course of the season, they're going to give Williams more carries than McCoy will get.
Yeah.
They'll probably go to McCoy, hopefully. They're telling him to backload his carries.
Yeah, maybe.
That type of thing. Who knows?
But I mean, you think about around the league. I mean, look, the Chargers basically had a top 5 running back and went, good luck. We'll see. We'll see in week 8 when you have to come back so you can be a free agent next year. Because if you don't, you're right back here next year.
Yeah.
And we're still not going to pay you. I mean, there aren't. I mean, Bell, how long has Le'Veon Bell been in the league? He's probably, 8 years now? 7, 8 years?
Bell's around 30, I would say, yeah.
So he's probably his 7th or 8th year, depending on whether or not you count last year as in the league since he didn't play. There aren't those guys that can do, and it's just not a position where you can do it most of the time into your 30s. That doesn't happen.
So let's see what happens with Le'Veon if he like extended his career by sitting out last year. That's what I'm curious
That's
about.
Such a weird debate. Yeah, the punishment that you missed versus the aging that you did either way.
Right.
That is interesting. Like if you could just skip a couple years, would you get that back at the end of your career? I don't know.
It depends on how they use you. And I think he knew that the way that Pittsburgh runs that offense to protect Big Ben, he was going to get
legally
punished.
speaking or on the field.
It's all the above with that guy. So they're not gonna spare Le'Veon, knowing that they're probably not gonna sign him again the following year.
No, they were using him, and even though he's got that like running style that I and most people find captivating, where it's like he sits back, he finds a hole. You're right. They had games where it's like he's running 30 times. Like they didn't give a damn. And it's exactly what you said, at the expense of his body, just to protect this dude another year.
So I think it'll be curious to see how he plays when he's 32. I think that's where make or break. Like that's why Frank Gore, I didn't know if he was going to be a Hall of Famer until like he's come up to the end of his career. It's like, how is this man still playing?
And he's still like many a team's like second back or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
bumped around.
Phenomenal. Like reading about how he practices, I'm like, what? This guy's crazy. Like they used to have to pull him out of practice because he just wanted to take every rep when he was at the 49ers.
I think it was
like, you
Portis.
Can't do that. Yeah.
Was it Portis who was telling a story that like day one he went out for practice wearing like nothing but cleats, was just like naked or something. And they were like, yeah, this dude's on another level. Like he just alpha dogged them to that extent. Like, look this up, Bill, if you want.
I don't know this one.
All right.
I thought you're talking at the U, right?
At the U, yeah. He just went out and practiced naked or cleated up to practice.
No, I think he didn't have gloves. He didn't have any. He didn't even have shoes. He just wanted to play barefoot because he was so broke growing up. I guess he was just like,
I want to imagine that he did it naked, like an homage to the ancient Greeks.
I think I would have heard that one.
If I'm wrong, so be it.
But no, he didn't need shoes. He's like, whatever, I'll crush you.
Yeah, he was a monster. He still is, man. I love that dude wherever he goes.
That's why, like, he's moving up the all-time rushing chart, and it's like we don't have anybody who plays running back like that anymore. Like it's him and AP, and they even try to cut AP's career short before he went to the Redskins last year.
Yeah, and then they healthy scratched him yesterday.
But I mean, saying last year he came in at the end of camp for the Redskins, and he beat the other guys because he's such a fitness freak. He just showed up. He hadn't done any camp, and he's like, better than these guys in their 20s. You got to take me.
He did well, man. It's weird to me that they scratched him yesterday.
Oh, it's already coming back to haunt them.
Yeah, yeah.
You already had Morgan Moses being like, oh, it's disrespectful. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Just what you need. Week 1, you blow a big lead on the road. Exactly what you need. Your offensive line questioning the decisions of your head coach. It's perfect. I don't see how this isn't a playoff year.
Is there any way Gruden survives this year?
Yes, if he wins 10 games.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to at
that
point, right?
You're right. Yeah.
Ironically, speaking of people trying to jettison their career to get a better job, I think he's looking at the offensive coordinator position at the Raiders as like a possible destination.
Yeah, I could see that.
They could be like the Ryan brothers of offense.
Like the not as fat Ryan brothers.
Right.
Dude, seriously, like, why are the Redskins still a team? Like, I just don't understand how anybody values that trademark enough to want to fight for it at this point. Like, as much as there's the debate about, like, is it offensive? I think the most offensive thing about the Redskins is that they've sucked so bad for so long.
Yeah,
and sell them to somebody else and give them a new mascot because he's tarnished the entire, like, everything about the Redskins now sucks.
I can't, like, I'll read any post article that is like digging into Snyder and going, like, he is such a pariah even with the other owners, and they hate the fact that one of their, if you want to talk like liberal elite East Coast, but there's just a lot of big money cities on the East Coast. Like, it's bad for the NFL in general that one of these East Coast, like, pillars of TV viewership, like DC, especially when we used to command DC and Baltimore's viewership for football, it's just bad for the league that the Redskins are such viewer poison.
That's
at
the
this
thing.
point.
We all watch Ravens games when we get them. We get a lot of them. And in Baltimore, they'd watch Redskins games that they didn't suck. It's just one of those things where you get to watch part of every conference, especially when there's a big matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore, they hate the Skins for the most part, but they'd still watch that crap.
They would watch it if they were, like, worth watching. And now it's just like, I don't know.
It's really,
who's this doormat for the Cowboys this week?
Yeah.
They're still not Detroit.
The Browns. I mean, they're getting close, but they're not.
Think about it. Here you go. The last time the Redskins were in the NFC Championship game was 1992. Yeah,
91 season,
something like that. And they played Detroit.
Yes.
They're the only two teams not to be in an NFC Championship game since then.
Dallas as well. Or no, well,
Dallas won Super Bowls after that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. After
that NFC Championship game, neither one of them have been back to the NFC title game. Every other team in the NFC has played in at least the NFC Championship game.
Dallas hasn't since their rings, though, right? Like,
but they got 3 of them.
But I'm saying, since the Redskins and the Lions
that's it.
played in the NFC title game, neither one of them have been back to a title game. Every other team in the league has.
I dare say the Lions have had far more cause for hope than the Skins have.
The Skins have been in the playoffs more often than the Lions.
No.
Have they?
Yes.
In those
really? In those 28 years.
Here's what sucks about the Lions, because
yes.
Matt Stafford ain't a bad quarterback, but he was the last rookie quarterback to get one of those ginormous contracts.
Yeah.
He was the second to last because the last was Sam Bradford.
And if they've been more, they have less playoff wins than the Redskins do in that time. I think the Redskins have maybe 3 or 4.
No, Skins have 2.
Since 90.
No, okay. Since Snyder, it's 2.
Snyder, it's 2. I think they may have had a couple between
you're
92 and 99.
Yeah. No, in that era, I mean,
1 or 2. I mean, they were bad.
Detroit has had maybe 0 wins, but more trips. Detroit has, with Stafford, has lost a lot of playoff games.
He has not won one.
He has not won one. I think you are projecting a lot. I think you're projecting that people are like, oh, the Lions are pretty good this year. And then they haven't been.
They have wild carded in a couple of times during that Rodgers era. Please do.
I really don't think Stafford's ever.
I don't think he's won. I don't think they've won a damn thing, but they have been in the postseason, I think, more than Bill is giving them credit for.
Maybe.
And have looked at least more like a potential team to make the postseason than Skins
No, you have a franchise quarterback who never makes the playoffs. It's the weirdest thing about him because it's like it's so hard not to keep him, but he never wins.
Yeah, it's a weird.
I will say this: I did not like him coming out of college.
Stafford?
I was like, this guy will not be around in 5 years. I was completely wrong about it.
Yeah,
but he's still not a very good quarterback.
I mean, would he be with another team?
I don't know.
I think a lot of teams would have given up on him.
I don't think he would have been because, again, me personally, I wasn't impressed with him in college.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit that I'm wrong.
Like Howard said, I don't do much college ball, but as a pro quarterback, I don't dislike him. I'm not in love with him, and I think he might be one of those guys that you marry yourself to and you'll never get there.
Just going back in time, I'm kind of with you as far as like number 1 overall pick. I was like, that's weird. That's a lot of money for a guy who
damn quarterback that year, man. What you gonna do?
All right,
those contracts.
What are the years that we're talking? What's the time frame that we're talking about?
In terms of playoff trips, let's say the Snyder era versus the last 20 years.
99 through
2019.
Last year. They have 4.
They have 4 trips to the postseason?
99.
Okay.
11. 14. 16.
Okay, 11.
They are 0 for 4.
Yeah.
And in fact, they lost to Washington in 99.
Yeah, that was
Lost-
one win.
Lost to the Saints
one.
in 11. Lost to the Cowboys in 14.
And Vikes 16.
And Seattle in 16.
Man.
So 4. And it's the same as the Redskins, right? Haven't the Redskins have 4 trips under Snyder?
I think they've won twice.
Yeah, they have the
2
North
division
Turner
titles.
win, and they beat Tampa with Gibbs. And then
Yeah.
Gibbs lost in Seattle, and then they lost hosting.
They lost to Green Bay.
Didn't they lose because he tried to call back-to-back timeouts?
No, I think that was a regular season game.
That's a regular season game.
Still great.
So, point remains, worse than Washington.
Yeah,
Same amount of appearances, no wins.
I guess I would say, as a Washington fan, in the last 20 years, the only time I felt true hope was RG3.
They have not won a playoff game since 1991 when they beat Dallas. The game before they played.
Was
Washington.
it Dennis Byrd that got paralyzed for them?
I vaguely remember that.
I could be wrong, but he was the player, and I've told the story before. He was the player that year. He was like a lineman, offensive lineman, maybe, who got paralyzed.
He did the thumbs up as he walked. Yeah,
and I remember, they had this great story. Like, they're playing for Dennis, and I remember as a Skins fan, I'm just like, well, Dennis, I hope this meant enough for you because my teams have to beat you now. And that's just like, like I was like, it's cool, and I'm sorry you're paralyzed, but I want that 3rd ring.
Yeah.
So I was a little bastard even as a kid.
You're the reason that the Redskins are cursed. Like, your
much,
evil thinking as a child has resulted in 25 years of misery.
I was like, whatever it takes, God. I don't care. Just make it happen. Paralyze Barry Sanders too. I don't care.
So, I mean, as bad as that franchise has been, again, the Lions have been worse.
And if you look at the new Browns, if you just consider the Browns as like rebooted, Browns 2.0.
There was.
Have they even made the playoffs? Like maybe twice?
They have made it, I think, one time as a wild card. Was it Belichick? Belichick might be the last coach to take them to the postseason.
But yeah, the number of
maybe
winning seasons they've had is like 4. They constantly have a losing record.
Okay, then
insane.
I guess because of past glory, then people ignore the fact that the Skins, in terms of what they've done this last 20 years, are like a bottom 4 team in the league.
There's no question from where they were to where they are, that's probably the biggest drop-off of any franchise in the NFL.
But their fans have turned in a way that Lions fans, it's almost laughable. Just people are willing to still somehow...
But they still hate their owner as much as the Redskin fans do. It's just for a different reason. They don't hate...
Who owns them? The
Fords. Yeah. They don't hate Ford because he's a miserable prick. They hate him because they can't win. That they just don't win. Part of that, I mean... Ford has hired the wrong people. I mean, Matt Millen was their GM for how long and just kept drafting wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver. It made no sense. That's why they don't like him. It's a different level of hatred. They can't stand him because they're no good. It's not because he's an awful person. Yeah. Right.
Like Snyder. Snyder's just such a piece of garbage.
And even the Browns fans are loyal despite misery. Absolute misery.
That in terms of like the fan base hating and just the complete lack of hope. The last couple of years, I don't know who in the NFL beats the Redskins.
Fair,
but abandonment, straight up abandonment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Washington might be the bottom team in the league.
But I think going to the Cleveland example, I think if for some reason, and there are a lot of people, and I said this years ago that I would be for this, if Snyder up in the middle of the night, like they did in Cleveland, move that team out.
Yes.
And left. Or when Baltimore originally did it years ago.
Yeah.
And moved out and left. If that happened here in Washington, and then 2 years later they got a new franchise, you would see that same loyalty no matter how bad that franchise was.
Yes.
You would see that same loyalty to the new Washington franchise that you see in Cleveland.
In the way, and the Texans, like the way the Texans just showed up after the Oilers left, like people were like, boom, we got an NFL team again.
Yeah.
Right. What was that other team?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll claim some of the good players from the Oilers, and like we're glad the Titans are no longer a part of that. But yeah, man, Texans all the way. Like they just forgot about it.
Yeah, if you became the Washington Warriors or whatever, they'd celebrate. Oh, remember when we won the 3 Super Bowls and whatever NFL titles back? We won't talk about 91 to
pretty much.
to 2025 or whatever it would be. I mean,
he represents the death of hope in a way I don't know of.
And
another
he's in his early 50s.
That is, dude. He bought them when they were 34, or he was 34.
Yeah,
he's 54 now.
Right.
Oh my god, and he's rich. He's gonna outlast all of us probably.
And here's another.
I eat poorly. Howard drinks. You're about his age. Yeah.
Here's another problem for you if you're one of these people that believes that the rich always get the better medical services and everything before the rest of us do. Read an article this past week. Now, it is a very, very small sample size, so don't think this is coming to your local supermarket anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
But scientists claim that they have found a way to not slow down aging of cells.
Yeah.
But did you see this?
Yeah.
But reverse aging of cells where your body will actually regenerate itself and you go from being 45 years old biologically to 40 to 38. So if you think that's true and that may be coming,
wow,
you know a guy like Dan Snyder is going to get that before any of us will. And he may never, ever, ever give up the team while any of us are still alive.
What this world needs as it nears like 8 billion people. A way to keep
there's
who it's got.
Plenty of room on this planet. Come on.
Let the pestilence come, man. We're just done. We're done. But yeah, he's at worst, he's going to be one of those Futurama heads on a robot body. Like he's not
just waiting for the other owners to all die off so he can finally claim it.
Oh, Snyderbot. Like I have not in the last couple of years, and I'm not alone. That's been the story that I feel has dominated this team. Just the death of hope. Just like
I'll tell you how bad it is.
Here, it's done.
And I've been hard on the Redskins for a long time.
Yeah,
but just objectively speaking, if you just look at the types of people who come, it's a transient city, and nobody really wants to go out to the stadium in Ralph John. What do they call it now?
Landover.
Landover.
It's a horrible experience. That's why.
Yeah, it's miserable. The XFL is gonna have a team playing at DC United Stadium.
Yeah, in
the city near like the area where the Nats Park is. You have the waterfront nearby. You've got the Navy Yard. It's beautiful. It's so much like just as a casual fan who wants to get drunk and watch football, I'm all in. I'm going to Audi Field and watching some garbage XFL because it sounds like a great time to get drunk while watching football. And that is not something you can say about going to Redskins Park.
No.
So part of the problem is, and not necessarily the drunk, it's the drunk and unruly and surly fans. You go out there and it just ends up being an awful time to take. Again, I'm not one of these people like, hey, kids are in this section, watch your language. You brought the kids to the game. You got to expect what you're going to expect. But it doesn't have to be to the level of you can't walk safely through the parking lot without being accosted by people. I mean, and I'm not talking about Philly fans going after opponent, fans. I'm talking about Redskin fans going after their own because they're drunk and unruly and angry because the team's not any good and everything else going on. It's just not a pleasant experience.
Is it that bad now? I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's some real heavy drinking. Yeah, and I realize that's not rare for an NFL stadium, but yeah, they really get loaded.
Yeah, I never get that wasted, man. I stay on the happy side of things. Like when you turn towards the violence, it's like you should have some water.
Yeah,
maybe some ribs.
It's gotten. I mean, I have friends of mine that are season ticket holders that will not take their kids to games anymore.
I've heard that's become worse and worse.
Gotten so bad.
In fairness, the guys on PT, I've heard them say this, and I'm for this because like as much as I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's fun to like drink and watch football. Like I've heard the rule: if you stop serving at the end of halftime, just no more alcohol.
Oh, people would lose their S if that happened.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's a good rule.
No, I get it, but
people don't like. Watch
the thing
themselves.
is, it's not
where we're going.
It's not the $12 beers in the stadium. It's the 3 hours when you start drinking at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
and you're, half cocked by 12, and you still got another hour before you're going into the stadium.
Yeah, and then you're just sitting in the sun,
and you're miserable because the team stinks. And
I think the flip is if you look at the people who are going to show up to XFL games, right? Are they are they that into it?
No. And again, that's why I have no problem. You talk about going to get and going and watch a football game and drinking. That's all well and good. I'm just saying the problem isn't guys like you. Yeah. The problem is the people that show up at 10 a.m. and are just there for the only reason to get drunk, and let's see what kind of problems we can cause.
So that's a lot of NFL teams. I talked to people from Kansas City, and
Buffalo.
KC is great right now.
Just watch Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, just watch the Bills want to bring up, the Bills Mafia. You guys are a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. They really are just a bunch of stupid people.
It's Buffalo, man. That's all they got.
I guess there's nothing else to do there.
All they got.
But it is stupidity. And they're like, oh, this is great. Look at us. We're going to do a flaming table. And we're going to throw a guy off of it and everything. But then you see the other stuff.
That's how you can determine the IQ level. They're doing WWE moves.
Well, right. Which, okay, all fun and games, and that's fine. And if you get hurt, that's on you. But then you also see the videos from again, it could be any NFL tailgate parking lot where guys are just like, I've drank too much. I'm going to go piss on this guy's car. It's not my car. I'm going to go pee on his car. And then he's hey, go pee on my car. And next thing you know, big fist fight.
Stabbing.
Yeah. And then there's somebody's getting shanked. And that's the end of it.
It was much better self-selection when people were required to like cook good food at the same time. Because there are too many people now showing up in the parking lots who are just there to drink.
Yep.
And it's like you have to be able to operate a grill from like 9 a.m. to noon before all comes down.
I don't know if we end with this, but like I can't drink that heavy anymore. Like I don't get what kind of problem you have to have, especially if you're in your 30s. Like I am so toasted for days after drinking at this point. Like,
you're not a professional. That's why.
I used to be, I guess. Yeah, I used to be, and I've let it go, and I don't get it, man. How can you do that with your life beyond a certain age? Like, don't you have responsibilities or anything to do? I sound like Queen Mary over.
Nah, man. I got to pace myself because like I was excited. First week, I mean, there was the prior week of college football, but for me, this was Texas LSU. Mm-hmm. That was a big game for me, so I was like, I'm going to spend all day. Like, we made some chili at home, and then we were drinking beer, but I was pacing myself. I'm like, I'm going to wait till 2 to have my first beer.
You're a good drinker, though, yeah.
And then I was just like, no, I'm going to have a water now. It's just like, I got to get to 7. I want to see the game. And I learned from that Patriots experience, I want to remember more than just the game itself.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm just like, because I love football. I'll always remember, like, cool stuff that happened in the game. But if that's the only thing I remember, that was probably a rough night, and I'm going to regret it for several days after.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, who's winning the Super Bowl this year? Go ahead.
I want the Ravens to do it. What the hell? Why not?
Who are they going to beat?
They are going to beat, the Redskins. Why not?
No, come on. I know you do a comedy show, but let's be honest here.
Cowboys.
Yikes.
No, nobody from the NFC East for me. I'm going to have to take a second to think about the NFC, but
hold on. Yeah, for real. I think the NFC West, I'm not in love with the Rams. The South can kiss my ass. The North is uneven. No, it could be the Cowboys. It really could be the Cowboys.
I don't see an NFC team winning the Super Bowl this year. It's got to be AFC.
Well, they lose to the Ravens if you are listening.
So I'm going to go Ravens or Chiefs. I don't want to say that like I'm going to be upset if New England wins another Super Bowl. Just for me, it's good for the league to have a little variety.
Yes,
it's good for the league for somebody else to win this year. So that's why. Am I going to be a homer and just pick Baltimore? I'm not going to go there yet, but it's them or KC. I guess my gut will be KC because they were so close last year. They're ready to go.
Does it? All right.
I got Saints over the Chiefs.
Saints over the Chiefs, man. You really, after
Drew Brees off into the sunset.
You think he's doing it? Okay.
I think so.
Has he not diminished?
Because the rest of the NFC, like you said, I mean, let's go through it. Who else do you trust in the NFC?
I legit could see Minnesota in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Do you trust Kirk Cousins to win a big game?
I could see the Saints blow it again against Minnesota.
That's maybe.
It's not the first time.
It's true. That's true.
I trust Kirk to make sweet love to his wife, Julie, as he has so many years now.
I mean, that's the thing is,
maybe Green Bay, but again, I don't see them beating who wins the AFC. Because there are three great teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I agree.
They all beat the NFC.
And I think that's why New Orleans will end up winning, is because I think the AFC is going to be so worn. The team that wins it is going to it's going to be such a battle those 2 weeks prior to, even though you get the week off, it's still, you're at the end of a long season. You've had two really, really hard playoff games in the AFC. I think that's rolling up. Now, again, I made that prediction before week 1, before Antonio Brown ended up in New England. It'll probably end up being New England. But I'm going Saints Chiefs.
God, I hope, like, every year they've started strong, or most years they don't win. You gave a couple examples, but I would say the last couple of bowls they've won, it was in years where like week 3 sports writers are like, it's the end of the dynasty. And then,
Well, they've been to 3 straight.
Oh God.
Won 2 of them. 14-2.
Okay.
13-3, and then last year they were 11-5.
But
so the trend would be down, but
yeah.
I was looking at
it's
the AFC East.
Yeah. But there was like this decade where they were absent from winning a Super Bowl. It's kind of strange. Like front end, Tom Brady had 3 out of the first 4 years, and then back end, he's got another 3.
Yeah, I think it's Mike Florio who said that they've had 2 different periods that would have gotten Belichick and Brady into the Hall of Fame. Like 2 different Hall of Fame careers.
We can say it for another episode, but it's just there was that lull. That lull is worth talking about. What was going on in that period?
We'll do it for another, but that was interesting. Yeah, that they've all of a sudden people forget that. Like they were, like you said, their previous out of the first 3 was that like 05-ish, 04-ish, maybe even.
And then they signed Brady to a big deal. Not like the biggest deal in the league, but once his salary went up, it took an adjustment period before they got back.
Decade plus, yeah.
And
then they're back. All right. Well, hell, let's get out of here, gents. Let's put that. There we go. The Tecmo Bowl music. Who doesn't like that? Everyone, that was Papa's Football Podcast. I think we're still on all the servers, the iTunes and the Stitchers that Papa's Basement is. Just look up Papa's Football Podcast, pfpod.com.
Do you still have the login for the Twitter account?
No, I just promote it via Papa's Basement now.
Good.
Which I'm so stupid because through doing work with that Mike Sachs character,
right.
I almost wanted to have him on this week, but Mike is like a Vanity Fair editor and a comedy writer, and I've managed to get like these decent high quality follows from several like female comedy writers, and I feel like I'm just holding on by a pea hair to them following me on Twitter. And then of course, ever since football season kicked in, my every tweet has just been like about Antonio Brown and things of this nature. I'm like, I'm gonna alienate him. I'm gonna lose these.
They need to know the pop culture references.
AB is a legit national story, so you haven't lost them yet.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
but I don't keep your paws off Tom Terrific. Ladies love that guy.
That's right.
I don't want to lose those sweet checkmark followers.
Just talk about how pretty Tom Terrific is. You'll be fine.
Yeah, Howard Flood. You do any Twitter stuff lately?
Probably not.
There you go.
Howard Rants. That's my handle.
And
that's my new
Bill.
One. Yes.
You're Bill H. Rowland?
No, just at Bill Rowland.
At Bill
with
Rowland.
an H, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Rohland.
Sorry, I'm too warped by Michael L. John or Michael L. Johnson. All right, yeah. Find the show, subscribe, share it. Please get it out there and send. We're gonna put up some sort of Patreon or PayPal for like the funeral funds for Joe Gagliardi, who again died in a tragic pie eating contest. If you've ever seen Stand By Me, think about the fat kid eating the blueberry pie, except it all came out of Joe's other end and then he died. It's really sad. Till next one, we're out of here.